ironic, really, because on the same week that I plan to do a video about this subject, that's when all this ruckus starts to kick off. Wow, where do I even start? One thing I pride myself on, more than any other YouTube person, is that lots of YouTube people will structure their argument, um, plan what they're going to say, and I think that's a good way of doing things, I really do. But I feel like sometimes when it comes to things like this, and the team, your your footballing team or your sporting team, no matter where you're from in the world, sometimes it's just best to speak from the heart. You know, it's interesting, really, because this debate is a hot topic and has been for about 3 or 4 years now about what you would do with the Arsenal manager. My position has always remained clear. I think he has been our most successful manager of all time. So, with that in mind, he deserves all the respect in the world to see out his contract at the very least. You know, to me, something seems wrong at the core of that club. You know, Arsene Wenger is not stupid. Like, to me, you don't let, as much as I hate him, you don't let Chamakh go and not bring in another striker unless you thought you were getting another striker. This is my view. You don't let Giroud go unless you thought you were being promised another defender. Something has not happened in January that should have happened. And I get the feeling that Arsene Wenger is really covering up for a lot of what the board does wrong. You know, he's the fall guy for the board. My complaints don't lie with Arsene Wenger, and sure, there's a lot about his attitude that I feel needs to change, and I will discuss that in a bit. But I think a lot to do with, I think a lot of it is to do with the way he protects the board, and protects the members of the board. And the weird thing about it is I don't think they reciprocate. I don't think they do enough to protect him. So, in case you hadn't guessed, my position on this is real clear. I would keep Arsene Wenger. I would actually offer him a further 2 years at the end of his contract. At the end, let's not start a debate. At the end of his contract, should he have proven himself by 2014, I'd offer him a further 2 years. I really would. Who could you honestly say, and I'm asking Arsenal fans this predominantly, not hating Spurs fans, not kind of chuckle Man United fans, I'm talking about true gooners. Who would replace him? Really? Laudrup? I like Laudrup, don't get me wrong, but the guy hasn't been tested. I've not seen, he hasn't even completed his season yet. Yeah, I would like to see Laudrup over the next 2 or 3 years, and then maybe look to bring him in. The next call, Dennis Bergkamp. Okay, he's been an assistant manager at Ajax, and maybe, but he doesn't have that Premier League experience. He doesn't even have management experience. So who would be your next call? Tony Adams? Really? I love Tony, but come on now. Everybody saw what happened to Wickham. Come on now. I love Tony, don't get me wrong, but come on. There's no one ready yet. So, for me, my position is real clear when it comes to the manager's position. I'd keep him. But for me, I would sit down and have a talk with them. For me, if I'm the Arsenal board or if I'm the Arsenal owner, my relationship with him will not only change, but it will become stronger. I'd have more communication between myself as the owner, or as the chief exec, or as the chairman, with my manager. I'm not talking about formal board meetings all the time. I'm talking about phone calls here and there. If you leave him isolated, you leave him as a sitting duck for the criticism he gets. Because he likes to put himself front and centre, and I think that's where his attitude needs to change. I think he needs to not protect the board so much. If he doesn't have money, come out and just say you don't have money. Because the board, if you really don't have money because of what the board are not giving you, all the board are saying are making public statements by saying, oh, there's cash reserves this, there's cash reserves that. They're screwing you the fuck over. So unless you start telling the truth and saying, you know what, I don't have no dough. Simple as that. At least the Arsenal fans can know who the fuck to be angry at. The media can stop putting so much pressure on you and start focusing on that monkey ass board that we have. I think for me, the manager's attitude, most importantly, Arsene Wenger's attitude has to change. It has to change. In my gut feeling, and I hope to God, I hope in Jesus' name I'm wrong, but my gut feeling is that we'll probably miss out on fourth to Tottenham. Just about, but I think we'll miss out. But in my opinion, I hope that doesn't stop us when we're buying the people who needs to buy. You're not going to get your Falcaos or your Cavani's or people like that who don't make Champions League. But at least if you start improving the players with the sort of players that we need, that Milotovic's, I'm not sure about Reina. I'm a bit worried about the fact that we're dealing with him. But your Capones, your Hummels from Borussia Dortmund, those are the sort of caliber of players that we need. Right? Not players just for the sake of them being big names. You see, I was a big fan of us getting David Villa initially, 5 years ago. Not so much now. It's not. I think this is where perhaps Arsene Wenger and the board, but this video is merely about Arsene Wenger. This is why I think Wenger has it confused. There is not an Arsenal fan in the land that wants us to pay £50 million for one player. There is not an Arsenal fan in the land. You show me that Arsenal fan, I'll tell you that's not an Arsenal fan. No Arsenal fan wants to see that. The only thing Arsenal fans want is honesty. But not honesty just from the board, but honesty in the message that you give to us. You can't look at us as fans, be straight-eyed and look at us in the eye and say, you know what, this team is good enough, I believe in this team. No way! We're going to call bullshit on that. Bullshit! That team is not good enough. That team lost to a shit Champions League championship team in the championship who can barely play their players, who are useless, and we lost to them at home. I don't really shit on the Bayern Munich performance because it's Bayern Munich. I'd be really, really shocked if they don't win the Champions League this year. I think they're playing that well. So I don't really care about Bayern Munich. But the Blackburn game, oh come on. You can't look at that team and tell me, oh yeah, okay, we're good enough. No, we're not fucking good enough. The players that were good last season have even got worse this season. Like Sanya, like Vermaelen, like Koscielny. All these players have gotten worse. It's his attitude I want changing. And not only his attitude about the strength of the team, but his attitude with his coaching staff. First 3 games of the season, we're switched on, we know what we're doing, we're defending well, everybody knows what the fuck they're doing. All of a sudden, Steve Bold starts getting so much praise that apparently Arsene Wenger doesn't like it, and then the whole thing changes. That's just arrogance. That's arrogance. Let your coaching staff have influence on the players. You can't. I completely feel what Stuart Robson is saying. That's what your coaching staff is there for. You don't want them to be redundant. You want them to help you with these things. You want them to be able to encourage your defenders, who are supposed to be international level defenders, to be able to defend. I don't understand why, if you have somebody there to help you, you refuse that. That's just arrogance. That's ego. And you're suffering, you're paying for that ego. Because for whatever reason, you seem to have marginalized the things that Steve Bold does. That's what your coaching team is supposed to help you to do. That's part of the attitude I'm talking about. You need to be honest with us as fans, but you need to be honest with your coaching staff and you say, you know what, I need help. I need you to be able to look after this team, drill them, do whatever you have to do to make sure that they're defending. I won't interfere in that part. You're an old man, you're not going to keep being able to do this shit forever. This is what you have a team for. Fuck. I mean, I know it's nowhere. I know it's not even the same. It's not even the same subject matter. But even when I play Football Manager, I get in a couple of coaches because I understand that my plan is to win everything that I play in. So the only way I can do that is by employing the coaching staff that can be able to groom, to coach the players in the sort of way I need them, to make sure that they're as fit as possible, to make sure that they know the team formations that I want to run. Everything. They're your hands-on guys. You're nearly 70 years old. You're telling me you're going to keep doing this hands-on shit? No. Fuck's sake. And that's the part of Arsene Wenger that pisses me off. And that's the part of Arsene Wenger that pisses everybody off. But I won't say it has to go. But if next year is to be his last year, and I believe he'll see out his contract, I believe he'll go next year. As a board member, I would back him. I would say, listen, we can't be in this position next year. Regardless of what happens this year, whether we make top 4 or not, we cannot be in this position next year. We must buy. We must buy. And I would have that relationship with him and support him in whatever he needs to do. As I mentioned in my previous videos, I'd either have David Dein back or I'd have Brian Marwood-like figure to have a close relationship with Wenger. Not a fractious one, a close one. To make sure that targets are identified and they are gotten. That there is a very good negotiating line between the person identifying the target and negotiating the contract. And making sure that those players are brought on board. And making sure that your coaching team has the influence on your team. Surely teaching the defender to defend isn't messing up your plans. Surely. I'm so frustrated with this one that I may make a part 2 of this. But I just thought I'd give a little warm up. I may not. I may not. And I'll see how I feel. But comment, like, subscribe to this video. Yeah. I knew it was going to be a passionate long one. I apologize if it was too long. See what you think. Get back to me. Take care. Peace.